Hello everyone, and let's talk about why the best champions for generative AI in associations are hiding in plain sight. It's because they are not empowered to actually engage in generative AI adoption. Now, let's talk about why. We've seen with generative AI adoption I've seen as a consultant for associations and speaker for associations on this topic, that there's a lot of resistance to change, skepticism about generative AI, and also, even realistically, there are challenges with associations buying off-the-shelf tools and hoping that they will work well in association contexts. So some of this resistance to change is actually quite relevant and appropriate because associations are not customizing the tools that they're getting to their needs. Having early adopters who become champions can help have a smoother transition and broader adoption, both by providing information on how to improve the generative AI rollout of whatever tool you choose and getting buy-in and engagement, as well as then having them teach others about these generative AI tools and convince them to adopt these tools. So that helps build trust through that collaboration and practical hands-on experience. So here are the key attributes of effective generative AI champions. They need to be respected for their leadership, even if they're rank and file folks. They need to be respected for their problem-solving skills. They need to be enthusiastic about technology and innovation. They need to be enthusiastic about the specific generative AI initiative. They need to opt in. You can't just force their hand and twist their hand behind their backs. They need to opt into this. And of course, you need to reward them appropriately with incentives and with praise. They need to be skilled communicators who inspire trust, and they need to be diverse. So not simply folks from your IT team or a couple of people from your committee who are devoted to technology, for example. That's not going to work. So what you want to do, and I've worked with a number of associations on this, is use surveys and focus groups to identify both obstacles, kind of the resistance to change that you anticipate facing with any generative AI initiative, and people who are excited about the generative AI initiative. So people who are going to want to be champions. So let's select them. Folks, again, they need to be tech savvy, respected and engaging, provide hands-on training to them for tool mastery, and make sure to provide them with various use cases of how other associations did it. Develop communication strategies for explaining benefits to them, and then provide them with these strategies to explain it to others. Supply toolkits, guides, and peer access for ongoing support. So peer access to folks who already know how to use the generative AI tools, and if you don't have peers, you need to have external support. Encourage champions once they become champions to lead learning initiatives and help encourage others who they communicate with to adopt generative AI effectively. Highlight success stories to inspire more widespread participation after you get those initial generative AI champions going. Again, recognizing and motivating them is really important. Celebrate them through newsletters, events, town halls, board chat-outs. Have awards. Award recognition is really helpful in meetings, association publications, maybe gift cards to volunteers, maybe grants to a chapter that had a number of champions and piloted some programs. Showcase champions' roles as role models for peers to encourage them to keep doing so, and reinforce their value over time to sustain enthusiasm and momentum. I'll tell you about a communication association I worked with. It had about 50-ish staff, and the goals of this project involved was to improve member service, volunteer coordination, and event planning. Now, we identified through surveys and focus groups concerns over complexity of generative AI, job loss, disruption by staff, and member roles by volunteers. So we wanted to empower champions to lead adoption and foster trust. So through the surveys and focus groups, we selected 12 champions. We had some staff and volunteers who were respected for their leadership and innovation, diverse folks. The people included a chapter president, a data savvy membership coordinator, folks from IT, of course. So this diverse representation addressed varied organizational needs. Then we trained and equipped our champions. We delivered hands-on training for mastering generative AI tools and use cases. We shared best practices on generative AI from early adopters and from early adopters net association, folks who were already using generative AI. Not all the champions were using generative AI, some of them were. And also I brought in some expertise from other associations I worked with and use cases from there that was helpful. We had a workshop on communication strategies to address concerns after the generative AI champions would be participating in the rollout, and we equipped them with toolkits, guides, and peer support resources, how to do peer support. Next, we had a rollout after they were comfortable and excited about this. We had workshops, which the peer champions helped support to showcase generative AI applications for all of the goals that we set. We had one-on-one mentoring to support personalized implementation. We highlighted quick wins like 10% savings on renewal processes that were shared widely. And the champions were celebrated widely via newsletters, webinars, and awards. Okay, what did we achieve? After 6 months, we had 80% adoption rate for the tools among staff and volunteers. Of course, not simply champions, all staff and volunteers, which is excellent. The event planning timelines reduced by over 30%, and member satisfaction scores improved because of faster response times. That enthusiasm by champions is what really helped us create the ripple effect, boosting engagement with these tools. So, as you think about encouraging your own generative AI champions, recognize that it's the champions who will transform generative AI adoption and overcome that resistance to change. And that's going to be crucial for you. They will help facilitate trust, collaboration, and enthusiasm. And you want to think about empower champions to ensure the long-term success of your association in generative AI adoption. I hope this video proved helpful to you. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to get more videos like this, and shoot me an email with any questions at gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com. Again, that's GLEB@disasteravoidanceexperts.com.